Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Seattle Seahawks 10-year challenge. This is season number 5, I believe, and we finally punched our first ticket to the Super Bowl after a 14-2 campaign. Now, here on the channel, just a fun little fact, any team that I've managed that has finished 14-2 has never made it to the Super Bowl or has never won a Super Bowl. So history could be made here where a team that I'm controlling goes 14-2 and wins the Super Bowl. I've had I think 2 or 3 times where I've finished 14-2 and end up not winning the Super Bowl. I've never put a team together that's performed better than a 14-2 record. So the Seattle Seahawks right here have tied, regular season best for me as a general manager. And I mean, that's such a high bar you can barely beat it, right? You go 15-1 or 16-0. But so in other words, what I'm getting at is this is a team to go in the history books, and it will go in the history books. This is going to be a team to remember no matter what happens here. But of course, if we win the Super Bowl, we'll remember them as winning the Super Bowl rather than, losing the Super Bowl. It doesn't really matter what you do in the regular season. You're always going to be known for being a Super Bowl winner or a Super Bowl loser. So there's a lot on the line, and it's the Colts again. What is this? The Indianapolis Colts dynasty? This is supposed to be the Seattle Seahawks show, but the Colts just are phenomenal, apparently. And you know what? Let's take a look at them real quick. Wild card. They didn't do good this year. 8-7-1. They punched their ticket though, and they beat the Tennessee Titans 31-19. This is a really good day, but if you'll notice, Matt Ryan didn't play this whole game because he took an injury this game, and in the last quarter, the rookie Casey Parsons, who they drafted, had to finish the game and try and get them the win. And in the fourth quarter, he did exactly that. He held on and gave them the win. But of course, the question was, is Matt Ryan going to be able to return? Well, the divisional round rolled around. The divisional round rolled around, and they were facing the 15-1 Baltimore Ravens. I don't think a team has ever went 16-0 on my channel in history. I think the Patriots have went 15-1 somewhere on the channel, but it's rarely happened. I think it's only happened one time, but it just happened again where a team went 15-1, and it was the Baltimore Ravens. And then they got shut out in their first playoff game by the Colts, but it wasn't what you think. Matt Ryan came back, and he played in this game. He played on an injury. He threw the ball 30 times, but got taken out of the game late due to maybe not being good, right? Or maybe because they were winning. I don't know. We don't know. But he isn't 100%. And so Casey Parsons comes back and plays pretty good. Throws a touchdown pass, 43 yards out of 4 completions in 7 attempts. And they move on from the division round. We, on the other hand, struggled against the 49ers. It looked as though we could lose this game, and we went into halftime down, going into the fourth quarter down, 16-7, going into the fourth quarter, and we finally get the offense going, and we get 14 points in one quarter. 21 points. This was the worst offensive performance we had all year long. I mean, 27 points was our lowest up to this point. 27 points. But we only scored 21. But luckily, our defense comes in clutch. And this was a game where Thomas Robbins struggled. Patrick Mahomes took that late injury, and that kind of helped us, let's be honest, because he was playing pretty good. But he got hurt and never came back in this game. And we just could not stop DeAndre Swift from running all over us. Also, Derrick Henry hasn't done much in the playoff run, which in the postseason, which kind of sucks. He's played phenomenal in the regular season, but we cannot get our run game going for some reason. We're hoping to bring that back in the Super Bowl. So then we'd move on to the AFC and the NFC championship games where we would take on the Falcons and the Colts would take on the Chargers. Let's talk about the Chargers game a little bit. It's the AFC championship. Very close game. Finishing 34-31. Colts win it thanks to their very hot start in the first half. But you'll notice Matt Ryan did not play. And so he re-injured himself in the divisional round there at the end of the game, and it was a severe re-injury. He is not going to be playing in the Super Bowl. Casey Parsons took over the show, though. He played this whole game and threw 3 touchdown passes for 263 yards and completing 67% of his passes. A rookie, Casey Parsons, learning from one of the best in the league, in this universe, probably the best, Matt Ryan. And it's all on his shoulders now. He barely squeaks by, but he does a very good job, and he squeaks by nonetheless, punching him and the Indianapolis Colts to another Super Bowl. Matt Ryan, sadly, won't be in this game. Though it'd be harder for our defense, I would have loved to get a shot at playing against Matt Ryan since he's been so good in this series. But it's maybe the new face of the Colts, the young Casey Parsons, that we'll be facing. And for us, we face the Falcons. And I expected this to be a hard game, even harder than the 49ers, but that just was not the case. We woke back up the offense to what it's been all year long, and the Falcons just never even got started. We ended up scoring 14 points in the first quarter, following that up with a 21-point second quarter, going into halftime well in the lead. The Falcons did adjust, though, and they slowed us down to just 6 points in the second half. A lot of our scoring came from the first half. But our defense never slowed down. Even when we took a lot of our starters out in the fourth quarter, they only gave up 3 points. We had their number. And it was very surprising. Thomas Robbins came off of a rocky divisional round where he threw 2 interceptions. And he would come out here with a chip on his shoulder, throwing 1 touchdown pass and 219 yards. He would also only miss 1 pass. That's right. He completed 18 out of his 19 attempts. And the one that he missed was a drop by the tight end. Bomb down the field. He had his hands on it, but couldn't bring it in. So, yeah, that was a really good performance. And Josh Allen, he's young, and though he's got 3 years under his belt, he's really only got 1 full season of healthy football play under his resume. And so he's still young and really needs to learn. And you can tell he was very nervous out there, but he is a talented player. But he did throw 2 picks, one of them being almost a pick 6, or possibly, I think it was a pick 6. He was 38% completion, which is just not okay. And we're going to really be having to keep an eye on Josh Allen, because there's being nervous and then there's just performing bad under the lights. And so I guess the question for Atlanta is Josh Allen a bust, or is he our franchise quarterback? We've got to make a decision. Ultimately, it was his bad play that, propelled this horrible loss, but it was also losing their star running back. One, they didn't have Dixon, but they also ended up losing, I believe it was Dillon, who was their starter. But he never got started. He took an injury, and so it was Devin Bartell, who played decent, but because they got down so quickly, they couldn't continue to feed him. He only got 12 touches. He was averaging 5 yards a carry. Another game where Henry and Barkley couldn't really get much going. We split the carries with them, trying to make something work. And 3 yards per carry is pretty low for Derrick Henry. Though I will say, when it came to finishing these drives, they were perfect. Both scoring 2 touchdowns, 4 between both of them. And that's pretty good. The Falcons have the best defensive line in the league, followed by a very solid linebacker core. So I expected the run game to be hard, and that's kind of what worried me. But we were able to get it done in the air, and then ultimately the defense, we would have won the game whether our offense showed up or not with the way our defense played. And for the young Justin Jefferson, this was his first playoff game. I do believe he wasn't in the divisional. He got 3 receptions for 27 yards. We want to get him more involved in the Super Bowl. He has got that talent. Zach Ertz only got two catches, and one of them was a touchdown, which was the first one we got. We want to get him more involved in the Super Bowl as well. But our defense showed up, man. They played out, and we didn't get to the quarterback like I wanted to, but James Bradbury showed up and played phenomenal. And he wants a long-term contract, and I think he's earned it, whether it be here or somewhere else. He's playing fantastic. I think we might try and keep him around. We'll have to see. But that's it. We're playing the Colts. They 8-7-1. I mean, it's crazy. But these guys knocked off the 15-1 Baltimore Ravens, so we cannot take them lightly. But it would be wrong of me not to highlight the missing key to their offense, which is Matt Ryan. But we didn't escape the injury bug either. We lost our franchise right tackle, Marpet, an 88 overall, with a complete ACL tear. And honestly, we may not even have him next season. But we'll worry about that bridge when we get to it. Right now, we have to figure out what we're going to do going into the Super Bowl without a right tackle. We have the depth, maybe not to this talent, but we do have some pretty good depth. So I'm hoping we'll be able to protect Thomas Robbins. But the Colts, they have a different problem. They're going to be having to protect the rookie quarterback because Matt Ryan had a partial PCL tear in that AFC Championship game or divisional game. And he's done. He will not play. There's no way he will be playing. And they've also been doing a lot of this without their star running back, Trey Mason, who is a very good player. It's going to hurt that they don't have him. He was a 1,000-yard rusher 2 years in a row. Took a little bit of a step back because he got the ball a little bit less than last year, but he is a key part of their offense, and that much is clear. He's not going to be there. And they'll also be missing Centamio Sander, a young and upcoming free safety with a dislocated elbow. So the stage is set, guys. The Super Bowl is here and underway. Can this be the start of a dynasty for the Seattle Seahawks? Or will the Colts prove to be the giant killers? They took down the 15-1 Ravens. Can they take down the 14-2 Seattle Seahawks? Now, we know our roster pretty deeply, so I'm not going to go over it. But we will take a look at the Colts. They have just as much, if not better, of a roster. Real quick, just look at the top here. For us, we have a 90s, 4 players in the 90s. Thomas Robbins is a 99 overall player. We traded for DeForest Buckner. I mean, this is a pretty solid, front 6 or 10, whatever you want to call it. But look at the Colts. 3 99 overall players on their team. Sammy Watkins, Von Miller, and George Kittle. Then they have Jason Verrett. This is a solid team. I'm surprised, honestly, that they went 8-7-1. No wonder they've turned into a dynasty. They are a solid team. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they have a better roster than we do, but I think Matt Ryan being hurt and Casey Parsons starting obviously gives us the advantage, right? But Casey Parsons shows that he can play fine under the lights in the biggest stage possible. But he hasn't played in the biggest stage possible, but he will be in the Super Bowl. So we'll have to see how he performs. I'm hoping it's not good. So this is the one obviously great advantage we have over the Colts is the quarterback position. We also have them at the running back position. Even if Trey Mason was healthy, we would be dominating in this. I mean, we have Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry as our 1-2. But it'll be another rookie, Dimitri Knoll. So these are two spots where you want to have a little bit of experience, and they're just not going to have it this year. And that can cause some problems. But this is where they shine, and they shine greater than we. Sammy Watkins, he's been here plenty of times now. He's a 99 overall. He's the best he's ever been. 27 years old, still in his prime. And he's going to be a problem. But then they have Josh Doxson, who had a breakout year, went from an 80 overall to an 85, and he's playing like an 87 for the Super Bowl. He had his first ever breakout year, and he got rewarded for it with a bunch of XP. He is looking really good. Then you got Quincy Enunwa at an 83. And then you have George Kittle, who's in the midst of his prime, 25 years old, already a 99 overall. This guy will be a problem as well. And surrounding him, this is where it's really important. And we kind of struggle for some reason to get to the quarterback, but it's the offensive line here. It's a solid O-line. Their right tackle's a little weak at 78 overall, but outside of that, I mean, it's solid. It's in the solid 80s, you know. We'll have to see how this plays out. For their defensive line, William Golston, Mario Edwards Jr., who is a beast. He knows how to get to the quarterback. And then in the middle, Brandon Williams and DJ Reader. This isn't the best defensive line, but it's definitely not the worst. Especially with Mario Edwards Jr., you can count on him to get a sack or two every single game. Especially at this caliber of game. But it's Von Miller that's going to be causing a lot of chaos with Shaquille Barrett getting snaps as well. Then in the middle, Alexander is a solid middle linebacker. And then they have Jonathan Newsom. But they're also really strong in the secondary. They have us here as well, I would say, with Jason Verrett and LaMarcus Joyner, who have both been here for a while now. They're getting a little up in age. And LaMarcus Joyner is a little on the slower side. A lot of these receivers are, as they're getting up in age. But they are still very much solid corners. So we'll have to see if our wide receivers can handle them. It's going to be a good matchup, I think. And at safety, they have Von Bell and Morgan Burnett with Trey Blanchflower backing him up. Obviously, Sanders is hurt. So that's the stage, folks. Can we handle it? I don't know, because the Colts have been here before, but their rookie quarterback hasn't. So we're going to have to see. I feel like we have a solid team put together. One of the best teams, matter of fact, I've put on my channel in all of its history. At least tied with like the Atlanta Falcons series, where I think that was one of the ones where we went 13-3. This is a historical team that we put together here on my channel with a 14-2 record, but we have to win the Lombardi Trophy to make it count and to write our names into history forever. So the question is, can this team get it done? We're going to have to find out in the next episode. I hope you guys will join me. That's going to be the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. We're playing in Arizona. Let's get this win. Seattle, The curse is on the line. Can we break the Seattle curse and win its first ever Lombardi Trophy here on my channel? Let's find out.